Hey everybody, Structure Steve back again today. And in this video, we're going to continue our rebar modeling series and cover the custom reinforcement tool known as the irregular dispatch. This is going to be the first video of a number of different videos in this regular dispatch series.
So the first tool I'm going to talk about in this series is the irregular dispatch tool. The reason we're going to focus on this one to start off with is because it is probably the most universal tool and can honestly be used to model just about any kind of rebar possible. So if you mash this one tool, you're going to be able to knock out 99% of the bars width model. We're skipping over these element-based rebar modeling tools because, again, they're only applicable in certain cases for us in the bridge world. And I'd rather master a couple tools with these custom tools over here versus trying to guess whether these tools are going to work or not for the geometry that we're going to be modeling rebar for. So, regular dispatch, what is this? You can always go to the help page. That's going to be in like the docs.bentley.com, and then you just do a search for ProStructures and go in there. And I just did a search for a regular dispatch here, and this is a good tool, a good learning resource because it really explains in detail what each part of this tool is all about. The main reinforcing tab, end conditions, options, and assignment. In this video, we're going to focus just on the main reinforcing tab to start off with, because that's where the bulk of this tool really is that tab here. They do talk about, again, the dispatch method. So that's going to be the dispatch method here, so whether it's spacing or vertex or combination. So vertex just places rebar between all vertices of lines or smart lines that connect the vertices. The spacing, if you use a spacing option, then what that'll do is that'll just take the bars based on the spacing and put the number of bars in there based on the spacing and the start and end offsets that we put in there. And then a combination, again, that's going to combine the kind of the vertex and spacing methods for spacing the bars at the start and ends of the segment. Now, this is probably the most commonly used one, the combination one. That's kind of what we start off with, unless we want to draw a line with specific vertices that identify where bars are going to be at within a range. Then I would just use the vertex method here. But we'll go through all this and kind of explain what these things are. But this is a good, again, resource here to go over. So to start off with, again, I'm in OpenBridge Modeler. I'm in the Pro Concrete workflow here, and I'm going to go ahead and activate that irregular dispatch tool. Now, this isn't exactly the most intuitive name for a tool. Irregular dispatch, that's not really straightforward or easy to understand what that means just based on the name here. So going over this, we'll kind of get a better understanding of it. So to start off with the main reinforcing tab, you can select your bar size. I'll just choose number 11 bar now. This is the bar coating grade in the grade. So grade 60 bare is the most common one we're going to use. E is epoxy coated, G is galvanized, and S is stainless steel. So I'll go grade 60 bare. This is not a stirrup. These are going to be straight bars. If I wanted to stir up bar bending radiuses for the pin diameter, then I would click this button here, but I'm not going to do that for this one. Dispatch method, I'm going to start off with combination because it's the most commonly used one. And then I'm just going to, first off, really the best one or best thing I could recommend doing is setting the level that you want to put this rebar on here. Now, the easiest way to do that is with a template, because if you try to set the level under the assignment tab back here, this is seemingly in alphabetical order, but it's in alphabetical order for pieces, and then it goes back and forth, and it kind of has the levels scattered all over the place. So what we did in like the FDOT workspace is we set up templates ahead of time to help us select this level, so we don't have to go through this list here. We just went ahead and we can go to the templates here, and we can choose what element it is that we're reinforcing. I'll just choose beam for now because I already have the level set up in here. And then if I double clicking on that, that's going to set the level here in this level dialog. So going back to the main reinforcing tab, it's pretty simple. I'm just going to select the concrete elements. Now I'm in OBM, and since I'm in OBM, I have a concrete element here that's not a pro concrete element, and those are two different things. So you'll notice here when I click on this element, it's hard to tell, but it kind of turns like a lighter shade here. That's because there's a clone element underneath here in the footing here. Now, I selected that concrete element. All I got to do is select the guidelines, but I didn't draw any guidelines yet. So that's fine. I can actually do that in the middle of this tool if I need to. So I'll just go ahead and draw some guidelines here. And I already have my guideline level set. Actually, I don't. I'm gonna go ahead and set that. Turn this element template off, and then I'm gonna go ahead and select the rebar beam 1 guidelines. So I know that these guidelines belong to these bars here, the beam 1 bars. So select that. And I'll just trace this for now, the tops of this, and then I'll move it down in a second here. Select both those lines and just move them, down from the top of this element, maybe like 1 foot. And then here's the guidelines. So now I'm going to click on this button here, this, select guidelines. I'm going to click on the first guideline, and then click on the second guideline. And then I'm going to right click to end that guideline selection. So that pops this dialog back up here. And so what this tool really does is it basically models bars perpendicular, or not necessarily always perpendicular, but between 2 lines. So if I move these guidelines, I can take a top view here and then select the guideline that I was using for this particular one here. I'm going to toggle through my elements here until I grab that guideline. And let's say I move that guideline somewhere over here, right? Those bars follow it. So this is dynamic, so that whenever these guidelines change or move, those bars can move with it. So that's part of what makes this tool very, very useful and very kind of customizable here. So now that we have this in here, let's look to see how these bars are spaced. So those guidelines I drew were 10 feet. I'm going to go ahead and measure it here, 10 feet. And the placement of those bars, those guidelines, are going to be to the first and last one is going to be to the center of the bar. So this yellow element here is the bar itself. The center of that bar is at the end of that guideline. And same thing on the other side here. So if I say I have a start offset of 0 and 0, that just means that the first bar is going to go start at the beginning of the guideline. The last bar is going to start at the end of the guideline. So if I measure from bar to bar, in this case here, I should have 1 foot spacing. That's what I told it to have. And since my guideline is 10 feet long, that's why I have 1 foot spacing here. And I got 11 bars. 10 feet, 10 spaces of 1 feet is 11 bars total. So if I change this offset here, I can change this to maybe half a foot. And then maybe change this to 9 inches. And let's see what happens there. So the one down here, the one up here, the 6-inch offset, right? So from here to the center of this bar, I can rotate around here to grab the center of that bar. Right, that's 6 inches. So I told it to basically start from the end of the guideline and go 6 inches in to start that first bar. Then same thing with the end offset. If I were to measure the bars from the bottom down here, go from here to the center of this bar here, right, 9 inches. So that's what the start and offsets are. I typically draw the guidelines with the spacings in mind that I want, so I don't have to mess with these start and offsets, but you can use those if needed. And then the last main thing here is going to be the quantity override. So let's say I drew these guidelines in here, but I know, between these guidelines, I know I really only want like 7 bars put in here. So I can actually click the quantity override, type in 7, and then click on this quantity override to update that. And now I have 7 bars spaced evenly among these guidelines here. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Again, I can still put offsets in here with those 7 bars. Take them off, you can adjust the spacings. You can say, now the spacing, since I put the quantity override in here, isn't going to make any difference. So I can put in, spaced at half a foot, doesn't matter, because I have a quantity override of 7 here. So this is, again, why this is a really useful and versatile tool here. So in the next video, I'll kind of get into the different methods here. We'll go down to like the vertex method and kind of show you what that's all about. And then we'll jump into some of the other tabs down here.